What if I told you the Jets trade down and still get a haul of players to help this team for not just 2025, but beyond? What is going on, Jet fans? I'm Julian Locasto, joined by my co-host Nick Perry, and this is the Gang Green Report. Welcome back to another edition of Mock Draft Monday, where we build the future of the New York Jets one pick at a time. Guys, in today's mock draft, we are going to be flipping the script, and we are going to be trading down to number 15 with the Atlanta Falcons. That has been a big time rumor that we've been hearing over the last couple of weeks. I believe in the trade, they mentioned that we would get next year's first and also Kyle Pitts. So I'm going to force that upon us, and we are going to get that trade. I know that's probably not realistic, but that is what mock drafts are for. They are not realistic in the slightest. So we are going to go to our mock draft simulator, and we are going to essentially put this together for you guys today. Let's see here. Let's get this bad boy popped up. All right. So before this even starts, we are going to go down to the Falcons. So I believe the trade is, from what it was speculated, it was pick 15, 16, round 1 next year. Let's see. Round 1 next year. And I believe it was also Kyle Pitts in the deal as well. So let's see, Kyle Pitts. So in this trade, just for number 7, obviously, just throwing this out there, this is completely unrealistic, but this is the trade that was thrown out there. And I believe, I don't remember which it was, but this was the one that we are going to force. So in this scenario, we get a tight end of the future. Now, mind you, Kyle Pitts is he's not your inline type of tight end. He's not your every down tight end that's going to block for you. But the hope is that with him on this team, we now add another pass catching threat that we do not have. And in this scenario, we are getting a haul. I know it's just a first and a second, but we are also getting a first for next year, which is going to be very crucial to the Jets overall. So
and also just not having to use a pick on a player that we just got.
Exactly. So now, I feel like, obviously, in my eyes, I feel that, there's some pass catchers that we could still target later in terms of, guys overall that we could get. But just to look real quick as to who went at our pick, they ended up picking Mason Graham at pick 7, which is a good pick for them. They need some interior help on that line. And then Tyler Warren ended up going a pick before us anyway at 14 to the Colts. I think aside from us, a lot of people have Tyler Warren going to the Colts. I think that's a pretty good fit for him. But now, looking at our current, spot here, obviously we have tight end situated now with Kyle Pitts. Where should we go now with our first pick? Nick, what are you thinking based on the current guys that you see on the board? What do you think that we should do right now based on what you know about our current team now with Kyle Pitts in the roster?
Yeah, I feel like most of the drafts we were looking at pretty much pretty much all offense, I feel like, so far. We took Membu, so help that. We've taken Tyler Warren. We did the crazy draft with Shador. I think something we really haven't taken so high and just keeps flying up boards. I mean, he was already a top pick already, but Malachi Starks, obviously, top of the board there. We could go, I feel like that's still a little bit too high. I was going to say
15, I'd be okay. If this is where we're picking, I would be okay with taking a safety here because it's not super high, 7. 7's to me is
7's too high
for a safety. I mean, there's still some other guys on the board. I know you were just about to talk about some other guys, so talk about who else you're thinking about. But I'd be okay with taking Malachi Starks here. Safety is obviously a big need, so we could address it now. But, talk about who else you really like here.
Yeah, I feel like if you still want to help out Justin, I mean, Luther Burden, obviously we've talked about him a couple times.
Yep.
If you still really want to go defense, I think here, I would go Boston College there, Donovan Reku.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a good one if you're really trying to go defense again.
You tell me. I'm letting you command pick 15.
I think Malachi Starks is just too good to be. I mean, like you said, 7's too high, but Malachi Starks is right there.
I screwed up. I accidentally picked first mock. Redo.
B plus.
They don't want us to win. So we're gonna do this again. Unfortunately, I screwed up. So, but hey, I mean, in the meantime, we could talk about it. I don't think that's a bad look. I think
Yeah,
Malachi Starks is still probably, if not the best safety in this class, he's definitely up there in the top 2, in my opinion.
for sure.
I'm definitely on board with that selection for sure. So we're going to try to recreate this real quick. My clicker is not working at its fullest, so we're just going to make sure that this trade goes through at least. So obviously, everything got swapped around. Oh, it didn't even trade my pick. What happened? What happened?
You clicked on it.
I know, I did. I did the trade. Okay, we're gonna have to do this again, unfortunately. But uh, let's take a minute to like fix this.
I'll say if
Okay.
we have this pick at 15, I don't know who I'd pick.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tricky one. But let's get back on track here. Okay.
But yeah, I feel like you said, I think Malachi Starks, like if he's at 15, how do you not take him? I mean, you see him all over the place, but I mean, we need that safety position too.
Yeah, 100%. I just think like it's such a big position of need for the team right now. I mean, you're looking at our roster right now, and aside from Cisco, I can't really be excited about our safety room entirely because it's just like I just don't think the talent level is going to suffice for like the stuff that we're missing.
Right,
I just think we're missing a ton of talent on the top end, or we have more top end talent. We just don't have the other stuff. So
right.
that's like the big thing. So all right. Well, we could still go Malachi because he's still there, but Tet was
Perfect.
still there. That would have probably been a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
All right. So tight end is officially something that we've already addressed. We've addressed safety.
hmm
Me here, right off the bat, 2 big needs pop out to me. Wide receiver, interior defensive line. Tyleik Williams is a big run stuffer. And as much as I think I'd really love to go Tyleik Williams here, I'm leaning more towards Jaden Higgins just because I feel like wide receiver drops off significantly
Yep.
in rounds 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to lean towards Jaden Higgins here. I know he's a pick that we've made in the past, but that's somebody that I really like here.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I went Jaden Higgins. Now we're on the board again at 46. So there's a lot of bigger name guys that are still on the board here. We still have a couple of positions of need. We still have tackle that we could still address. We have interior defensive line. We could go a bunch of different directions, but having 2 picks or having 3 picks in the top 50 makes a big difference. We could get some really big, impactful players. What do you want to look at here at this pick?
I would say we should probably take a look at our tackle.
Yeah, I want to see what the tackle situation looks like right now as it stands. And my bow is there. Sorry, my clicker is acting up. Okay. So, Ariante Irsay, still here. Ozzy Trapillo, still here. Those guys, probably the 2 bigger name guys that we're going to look at this point in the draft. At this point, though, you take who you like. It doesn't matter about value, this, that, and the other thing. Like, take who you like, take who's still on the board. Nick, where do you want to go with tackle here?
I mean, I feel like if we're taking tackle, I would take the best of the best so far and just be Irsay.
Yep. Let's do it. All right. Round 3. Got a couple of really intriguing names on the board. Ironically, a bunch of receivers that I like that we've talked about in the past. We took Jalen Royals in our last draft at wide receiver. He's somebody that I could see being a sneaky good receiver that could potentially be here in the 3rd round. Kyle Williams, somebody that we recently spoken about as well. I love Kyle Williams. I think he's going to be an intriguing option for us at our regular pick at 42. He's still here. I mean, listen, I'm not opposed with doubling up on a position if it's there. Same thing with safety. Makuba, great great player. I believe the Jets brought him in for a visit today. So that's somebody we could bring in. But I really like the defensive interior position because I just don't think we're going to get as good of a value as we can get with CJ West. For me, I'm going to go CJ West. I think it's the bigger position of need. That's going to be my pick. And ironically, Kyle Williams is still on the board here anyway for Nick. So, Nick, where do you want to go here with round 4, pick 110?
Yeah, I feel like if we're going to double up on any position, I would definitely like to do Kyle Williams and like a wide receiver.
Yep, absolutely.
Just because Justin needs the help. We're absolutely, like we said, absolutely empty at that wide receiver room, bringing guys who can build.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, here's where it gets a little interesting, and I think this could be a guy that's flying up boards for a lot of people, but I know he's got the connection with the Jets. And again, the safety room is not complete. So we could double up here. I like RJ Mickens. I think he's going to be really underrated. He's going to start to fly up a lot of boards right now, too. So I do like the value with getting him, but sneakily, I really do think the Jets might take a running back in this draft.
You think so?
I think we might take a running back. Not just for, I don't want it to happen, but I do think the Jets may go at some point and take a running back.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do it here, but there is a guy that has some really good dual flexibility as a receiver and as a running back, and that is Brashad Smith. I think he's somebody that we could target at this spot. I really do like safety, though, also. So Billy Bowman Jr. and RJ Mickens. I think if RJ Mickens is here, I think Aaron Glenn takes him just because of the family ties and being former teammates, and, that could be somebody that he takes. I'm perfectly okay with either option. I think I'm just going to go RJ Mickens just for the storyline of it all. That's going to be my pick. But we have another pick here in the 5th round. Nick, where do you want to go with this selection?
I mean, if you think we're going to take a running back, I mean, we could just be crazy and just take him. He's still there to give it a shot.
He's a guy that I could see being a home run hitter. So he is a wide receiver converted to running back. And this year was his first full year, I believe, as strictly a running back. And he had over 1,300 yards at SMU with 14 touchdowns. So, I mean, this is a guy that adds dual threat ability. And he's very good in zone and gap schemes. So this is somebody that I could see being on our radar. There's other names here. We could also go corner. We haven't,
Yeah, that's true.
We haven't addressed corner. We need corner depth. There could be linebacker, we could take another tight end. Like, there's other things that we could do here, but, I think the Jets might get crazy and take a running back at some point. And I think Brashad Smith adds a ton of value here in round 5. I mean, Trevor Etienne's interesting as well, but I personally like Brashad Smith a little bit more.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, if you think that, I would take him. We've never done that before in a draft, so might as well take something different.
Let's get a little weird right now.
This is probably our weirdest one.
Guy that I like is still on the board. There's 2 guys actually that stick out right now that I really like, and that's Robert Longerbeam, corner out of Rutgers, did really well at the combine, ran a really fast combine, 40-yard dash. And then Ty Robinson, who I think is going to be a big-time riser. I don't even think he's going to be here at this point, to be honest with you. He's another one that had an insane combine performance, and I just think his athletic measurables just literally, jump off the table. So, I mean, but I think corner depth is something that we might address as well in the later rounds. I would go Longerbeam here.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like we're kind of shallow at corner, and we're going to need that hometown hero too, Rutgers.
Last pick of the draft.
Literally picking just physical attributes and what you think he might do.
Pretty much.
I mean, you can go, man, no, we already took 2. I was going to say Dean Clark is there, but that's like Fresno State's another safety.
We already took 2 safeties.
Yeah, you don't need another one.
We didn't take edge.
That's true.
I mean, Ty Robinson's here. I mean, I believe he played on the edge too. Yeah, he played on the outside tackle. Got a really good pass rush win rate, but he's somebody that could play on the outer parts as well. So that could be an option here. Let's see. Are there any decent edge prospects? Fidel Diggs is somebody that I feel has been coming up a couple of people's radars. he could be a under the radar edge pick here. We haven't picked edge, and
Yeah.
he's not the greatest against the run, which doesn't, bode well for me. But as a situational pass rusher at a 15% pass rush win rate, this could be a guy that could be just an edge threat as
I mean,
somebody that
it's
you just bring in just to come off the edge and make plays.
it's exactly what we lost in Bryce. I mean, the
Yeah,
guy wasn't like the best run stuffer ever, but we lost him, and he was strictly like mostly third down, and he always got to the quarterback.
I'm okay with taking him. I don't think they're
Yeah,
going to give a good grade for it, but we'll see what they end up giving us overall. But they
it's got to be
probably
better than the one pick.
crazy grade of a grade. I'll be surprised if we get a really good grade, but B plus.
We got 5 A's.
Yes. Jaden Higgins, they liked that pick. They liked CJ West. They liked Kyle Williams. They liked Brashad Smith. And they liked Robert Longerbeam. All guys that I think are going to be really under the radar, in my opinion. I think CJ West is going to climb up boards. I don't even think he'll be there in the third round. He might go bottom half of the second. But I overall like the haul that we got here. I think in this scenario, we'd be banking on Jeremy Rutgert to really step up as a tight end 2 option aside with Kyle Pitts, because I think Kyle Pitts would essentially just be a big slot. He would be a guy that could just like go out and just be another receiver for you, and you put him in some really good packages. But I think overall, this was a really great draft for us. Nick, any final thoughts on our draft? Yeah, absolutely, guys. So let us know what you think of this mock in the comments below. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Do you agree with the picks? Do you hate them? Would you do anything different? Sound off in the comments below. Like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're new. And as always, guys, go Jets.